I've been telling you it's the host. How long have I been saying this? How long has Uncle Casey been telling you guys that the biggest problem in late night television is the host? 3 years? Maybe even 4 years? If the broadcast networks are looking for a solution, there's no need to overpay for some doofus focus group. There's no need to consult with pink-haired Paula, who used to identify as Paul, and his non-binary emotional support walrus. There's no need to consult with Jim Kimmel, who obviously has no idea how to solve the problem. Hell, Jim Kimmel is the problem. All the networks had to do was call Uncle KC, and I would have given you the solution for free. Get rid of these hosts. Jim Fallon, Steph Colbert, Jim Kimmel. This trio of huge embarrassing failures. They have desecrated what was once a nearly billion-dollar industry. Well, KC, what about Seth Meyers? He is amazing! Sean Squires? Really? Is he still on NBC? The last time I heard anything about Sean Squires was when he interviewed our former fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden, last year, and he went viral because he asked Johnny B. if he could sit on his lap. The decline of late night television. This should be taught in colleges across the country. Instead of teaching young minds how to produce Molotov cocktails or teaching college dudes how to properly apply a tampon, they should be showing them what happens when a thriving industry is infected with incompetent leadership. Or in this case, infected with the woke fungus and incompetent leadership, which normally goes hand in hand. February 2014, David Stern, he stepped aside as commissioner of the NBA 30 years to the day when he originally accepted the role back in 1984. Now, was David Stern the perfect commissioner? No. But David Stern was a real leader. When David Stern stepped down, the NBA was averaging 3.6 million viewers on ABC, 1.9 million on TNT, 1.7 million on ESPN. Back then, TNT wasn't complaining about losing money with the NBA. They'd had a lucrative partnership with the league that spanned decades. Adam Silver steps in to replace David Stern, and the destruction of the NBA begins. This past season, ABC averaged 2.7 million viewers, TNT, ESPN, 1.3 million. There are constant complaints about the NBA product. The All-Star Game has become an annual embarrassment. The league embraced the plague of mythical racism. Owners are selling their teams at a record pace. Billionaires are getting out of the business of basketball. It's similar to how networks are getting out of the business of late night television. Now, what do they have in common? Weak leadership, incompetent leadership. Several years ago, late night television was generating almost $1 billion in ad revenue. The Tonight Show alone was generating around $300 million. Today, the trio of huge embarrassing failures combined generate $342 million. Like I have been saying for years, the problem is the host. You don't have to take my word for it. We now have further proof that Uncle KC was right. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. Today on the second channel, going to be talking about the ongoing officiating problem in the WNBA dump. The officiating in the dump has gotten so bad, the worldwide leader in woke, the exclusive home of pretend basketball. The officiating has gotten so bad, especially when it comes to Caitlin Clark, ESPN has even started to call it out. So if you haven't already, click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Headline at deadline. The Daily Show hits a 10-year ratings high. When I initially saw this headline last night, I immediately looked up when Jon Stewart was replaced by Travis Noah. Well, KC, don't you mean Trevor Noah? No, I mean Travis. You guys remember Travis, right? He was the doofus that damn near bankrupted The Daily Show. I remember when Travis was hosting, there were all these excuses as to why ratings were in the pooper. It's cord cutting, it's racism, it's white flight. The evil white man can't stand to see someone from South Africa on American television. Obviously, these excuses were bullshit. People weren't watching Travis Noah because he absolutely sucked. When Travis took over for Jon Stewart, The Daily Show was averaging over 1 million viewers. By August of 2022, Travis had that number down to a cool 383,000. Eventually, Travis recognized that he was a huge embarrassing failure. Instead of being fired by Comedy Central, which was inevitable, Travis decided to quit. He turned in his notice and claimed that he had bigger opportunities that he wanted to pursue. What were those larger-than-life opportunities? Outside of hosting the Grammys, mainly because they can't find anyone else willing to host that dump, outside of hosting the Grammys, Travis isn't doing a damn thing. For a while after Travis left, The Daily Show tried a rotating panel of hosts. The show was an absolute disaster. Comedy Central, they had to beg Jon Stewart to return and save the steaming turd. Even if he only agreed to work one night a week, it was significantly better than having The Daily Show hosted by unknown comedians who were lecturing people on mythical racism. Jon Stewart returned last year, and immediately, The Daily Show returned to rating success. His first episode was the most watched show in 5 years. During the second quarter of 2025, Daily Show hit a 10-year high in the 18 to 49 demo. Ratings are up 15% overall. They're up 43% when Jon Stewart hosts. Jon Stewart took Travis Noah's 383,000 and within 1 year, increase that number to 550,000. Well, KC, that number sounds dreadful. Oh, yeah? You have to consider the context. Think about it. What else are you watching on Comedy Central? Can you even name a single show that's currently being produced by Comedy Central? Jon Stewart isn't rescuing a show. He's rescuing an entire network. Meanwhile, the trio of huge embarrassing failures on the broadcast networks who are given strong lead-ins every night, ratings for the trio. Ratings are down 9%. They're down 21% in the 18 to 49 demo. Greg Gutfeld remains the king of late night, averaging 3.3 million viewers on Fox News. But when you look at Greg Gutfeld and Jon Stewart, and you compare them to the trio of huge embarrassing failures, it's not hard to figure out why they're successful. I'll show you a couple of examples. Politically speaking, I don't agree with Jon Stewart. Jon Stew is a liberal. I'm a normal person. But I don't have to agree with you politically to find you entertaining. I don't have to agree with you politically to like you or to hear your points. I've always liked Jon Stewart. I grew up watching The Daily Show. And one of the reasons I like Jon Stewart, he's not afraid to go after both sides. Last year, when the woke media was trying to convince us that John Biden was so physically fit he could beat Angel Reese in a game of pretend basketball, Jon Stewart was the only late night host, besides Greg Gutfeld, who was willing to make fun of our former fearless leader. Watch for yourself.
Everyone knows you're lying. The tell is when you're so over the top about what you don't want to tell the truth about.
Joe Biden is incredibly competent and he's incredibly effective.
3 hours on photo lines, on 3 events a day, then giving speeches. Are you kidding? I mean, come on! That's insane! 3 hours on photo lines, 3 events a day, that's 9 hours of photo lines, and then giving speeches, and then at night fighting crime.
I know this is hard to believe for the kids in Gen Z, LGBT, but this is what late night comedy used to look like. This is what late night comedy should look like. You make fun of Donald Trump, Orange Man bad. You make fun of Gabby Newsom, the governor of the People's Republic of California. You make fun of everyone. You keep a semblance of balance. The reason Jim Kimmel continues to fail is because he's got this unhealthy obsession with the Trumper. Check out this segment of Jim Kimmel right after the election last year. Now, I'll give you fair warning. Put down your coffee. ABC had to include a laugh warning on this segment to prevent lawsuits from people laughing so hard they pulled their ass muscle. But watch it for yourself.
It was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go. It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, for the truth.
Oh, Jim! Oh! I apologize for my outburst. I forgot I was not supposed to be laughing at what was clearly an emotional moment. I forgot that laughter was no longer allowed on late night comedy shows. I know Jim was emotionally distraught when the Trumper won the election. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and hold a moment of silence for Jim's feelings. Did you see the difference? One show is making jokes, while the other is giving a eulogy. One show is trying to entertain you, while the other is trying to indoctrinate you. People are not watching late night shows hoping the host is going to make them cry. This is not a Lifetime movie. I'm not supposed to cry during your opening monologue. People watch these shows to escape reality. Believe it or not, and I know my millennials will remember this, but there was a time when Jim Kimmel used to be comedic, or at least he tried. His style wasn't for everyone, but there was a time when Jim Kimmel was loose. He wasn't so uptight. Same with Jim Fallon. Jim Fallon was brilliant on Saturday Night Live. He was brilliant his first few years hosting The Tonight Show. The skits he did with Justin Timberlake, The History of Rap, that doofus summer camp skit, or when he would dress as that teenage girl and host Ew. That shit was great. But these dudes allowed themselves to be infected with the woke fungus. And the fungus has worked as designed. It has destroyed the genre of late night television. But give me your thoughts on this. Greg Gutfeld, Jon Stewart, they prove the format of late night can work. They prove Uncle KC right. The problem is the host. The question is, will the networks do anything about it? Next year, the contracts expire for Jim Kimmel and Stephen Colbert. Could we see new host? Or will the networks just get out of the business of late night television? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.